No, isn't it funny how that boy Jack Harlow has been poppin' big time ever since he said, "What's poppin'?" I don't know about you, but I don't think it's a coincidence. At this point, everybody is familiar with Jack Harlow. You know the name, you know the face, and most importantly of all, you know the music. In this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about Jack Harlow's career and why I think he's here to stay. So yeah. Let's talk about it. Now, I knew Jack Harlow was onto something when he said, "I'm gonna spend this holiday locked in," and that's exactly what we did for a little while. All jokes aside, Jack Harlow's been killing ever since he got in the game. Is it just me, or does that "What's Poppin' wave still for some reason feel kind of fresh? I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that Jack ran with that entire wave like crazy, and on top of that, the song is still kind of hidden. What's Poppin' was of course Jack's first major stepping stone in the industry. It was the moment that not only propelled his entire career to the next level, but put him as an artist in that mainstream light. I remember when What's Poppin' started taking off, and Jack was at the time facing some industry plan accusations. There was also a surge of those accusations when he was on a XXL cover. A lot of that obviously came from the fact that most people just hadn't been exposed to his name or face prior to his blow up. In the eyes of a lot of people, Jack wasn't heating up right before he blew up, so his takeover seemed a little sudden. However, for the people who've been A, following his career closely, or B, done a little research on his story, then you know that Jack Harlow's takeover was a pretty predictable outcome. The guy was putting in mad work years prior to even getting any type of success. Have you heard that quote that goes something like, "It takes about 10 years to become an overnight success"? That pretty much translates to you gotta put in at least 10 years into any craft before you even have a chance at becoming what people call an overnight success, which technically isn't an overnight success because you got a decade's worth of work under your belt. I digress. For Jack Harlow, he started rapping at the age of 12, so that would be sometime in 2010, and then he became a quote-unquote overnight success and blew up in January 2020 when What's Poppin' dropped. You do the math. I feel like Jack Harlow has become a staple in the industry at this point. His music has obviously been the main engine to getting him there. However, I think Jack Harlow is one of those rappers who's so much more than just his music. As far as I can see, a lot of that has to do with number one, his actual persona. Jack Harlow has a pretty cool personality. He's a cool guy. Everything I've seen from Jack Harlow indicates that he is indeed a pretty cool guy, which makes him a refreshing presence in the music industry. Reach-wise, the amount of levels he's elevated ever since he popped off, kinda crazy. There's definitely been a high level of consistency on Jackson as far as everything he's been doing. His debut album, That's What They All Say, was definitely a success. It did pretty good on the first week sales. 52K, That's What They All Say was another major stepping stone of his career. It was his major debut as well, so the project had a lot of force behind it. Tyler Hero was of course the lead single from the album. Aside from What's Poppin', that has been the biggest record from the project, not including the What's Poppin' remix. I think the biggest reason why Jack Harlow is here to stay is because he's proven himself to be valuable to the genre. Jack Harlow has earned his spot. Plain and simple. And he's done that by number one, owning his placement in the industry. That right there I think is harder than it may seem, considering how many eyes someone like Jack Harlow has on him now that he's on this big worldwide platform. Something that always comes to mind when I think about Jack Harlow too is how little him being a white rapper actually matters when you think about him as a rapper. We're not here to talk about if him being white has helped him reach the mainstream, because that goes without saying. It does play towards one's success when you look like the majority of the people who actually consume the music, white people. I'm more so talking about when Jack Harlow comes up in the conversation. The last thing you think about is the fact that he's white, which is something you really can't say for most white rappers. I mean, even someone as accomplished as Eminem has the white rapper aspect floating above his head. At the end of the day, Eminem is obviously a different case though if we look at the grand scheme of things, since number one, we're talking about Eminem, a guy who's been relevant longer than some of you guys have been alive. He's been there, done that, paid his dues, and yeah. It's Eminem we're talking about. For Jack, the white rapper effect, I guess we could call it, that's a video topic right there. It doesn't really apply to him. Like I said earlier, man, at this point, Jack Harlow is bigger than just his music. I predict that Jack Harlow is gonna be an OG to all the white rappers coming up in like a decade. Kinda like how Eminem has always been one for everyone who came up after him, Jack is gonna be that OG for the new generation. Jack Harlow's glow up has been dope to witness though, man. What I like about his success is the fact that it was an organic process which eventually led to where he is today, and on top of that, his growth and progress is very much documented. It's out there, so he has a really traceable track record, so you can see all the improvements he's made throughout the years. Song after song, project after project, video after video, it's all there. I don't really think there's anything special about Jack's come up, as in he didn't do anything out of the ordinary to get to where he is today. The only difference between Jack and the countless of other people he was probably coming up alongside years ago is that he stuck to it while they didn't. And obviously a little bit of luck on your journey doesn't hurt as well. He was hungry and determined to make make it, and so that happened. I guess for now, the only thing he has to do is to put all of his energy into that next drop so he can make sure that it slaps harder than his old shit. But yeah, Jack Harlow and why he's here to stay. Any thoughts on his conversation surrounding the boy Jack Harlow? I know a lot of you guys out there fuck with Jack, so I want to hear your take on it. With that being said, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and let's have a discussion about this.